Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together live here on Facebook, where we examine headlines from our city, our state, Jalisco, our country, Mexico, and we combine them with news and questions and suggestions and ideas from the community so that we can all have a most amazing life as a community of English-speaking locals here in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Today is August 23rd. And we're ready to start another week. It is Monday, and it is always a pleasure to be here with you. If this is the first time that you're joining us, my name is Paco, and we would love to hear from you if you are new. And you can let us know by writing the word new in your comments. If you have anything important that you wish to discuss during the broadcast, it helps a great deal if you add the letter Q at the beginning of your question or comment so that we can make sure to get to it during the broadcast on the final segment of the broadcast. How many times did I say broadcast? And this is not even a drinking game. Oh well, let's get started with our news, which include a little bit of vaccination, a little bit of COVID, a little bit of fires, a little bit of land sinking, a little bit of airport, and I am saving some really, really good news, personal news, at the end of the broadcast. So let's get this ball rolling, and we'll save our hellos for later on. Oh, what do you mean video file not found? Okay, oh, that's right. That's because I switched some things around over the weekend, and I'm not going to be able to play my swanky transitions from one section to the other because I forgot to make that update. So let me just go whoosh, 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 and all of a sudden we are at the news. How's that for improvising? As we posted on our vaccine, as we posted on our Facebook page yesterday, the second COVID-19 vaccine campaign for folks 18 to 29 years of age began this morning at 8 a.m. at the Naval Hospital and at the La Lija Sports Complex. Again, this appears to be a second shot only campaign. As with other age groups, folks are expected to bring along an official ID, their first shot certificate, and a blank new registry form, which can be obtained from the vaccine pre-registration site. Let's see what else. The campaign will continue for 6 days until Saturday. And there are enough vaccines available for 60,000 folks in that age range, 60,000 folks to receive their vaccine. And of course, we are talking about the Sinovac vaccine in this particular campaign. The youngest age groups continue to be the ones that most respond to the vaccination campaigns. In this news note, we learn that 3,000 AstraZeneca vaccines were left over from last week's campaign for folks in their 40s. And also, we learn that more than 2,000 people that received the first shot did not come back for the second one. Why not? Well, that's a big question, I suppose. And I certainly don't have an answer for that. Meanwhile, while we're supposed to be getting closer to the point in which this latest wave of the pandemic is supposed to begin stabilizing, Puerto Vallarta continues to beat its own records with more and more daily new COVID 19 cases. It wasn't even 2 weeks ago that we went over 200 new daily cases for the first time. And this past Thursday and Friday, Puerto Vallarta reported 389 and 460 new COVID cases, respectively. A few days ago, we mentioned that there was a problem with buses, not having enough buses, and the company not wanting to release more buses or to put more buses in circulation. However, we have learned that Unibus PV, or PV, the company that handles our public transportation, has announced an increase on their bus fleet starting today in order to diminish crowding on the buses during peak hours. In addition, the bus line continues to offer free rides for Marina Vallarta workers along the Marina Vallarta bus line, that being because a lot of workers just need to be able to get out of Marina Vallarta neighborhood to be able to catch a connecting bus on the main avenue. So it's good to know that at least Marina Vallarta buses are getting some sort of assistance from the bus company. And let us hope that with new and more buses added to the fleet, we won't have to struggle so much with riding the bus during peak hours. Now, moving on to other things, fixing the sinking near Soyatan along the state highway number 544, rather, or the highway to Mascota, turned out to be a major undertaking, as can be appreciated in these photographs. They really had to turn down, to demolish the whole thing. And as one of our viewers mentioned on Saturday, an alternate crossing next to the highway was created, but it is not recommended during the rainstorms. Meanwhile, a second sinking along the highway was reported over the weekend. This one is only affecting one of the lanes along the highway. So if you are headed to San Sebastian or any other points along the highway, how many times did I say highway? Just take your precautions if you're out and about, because these things are being addressed and they're being fixed. But nonetheless, the weather can be very, very tricky this time of year. And speaking of weather, let us take a look at what we have. And since we don't have weather, let's see, how does it go? Or something like that. So I forgot to update my transitions because I moved the video files from one place to another. So let's take a look at the weather. Oh, how easily I amuse myself. Name your future child after me and you will get a special prize, says our snarky weather. It is 27 degrees right now, feels like 31. Humidity is at 85% right now, and we are enjoying 81 degrees Fahrenheit at present time. Our weather forecast for today: rain and humidity throughout the day. High temperature of 31 and 25 would be the low temperature. It says wind slight and variable, although we have grace news coming up in a second. Tomorrow, Tuesday, we can expect rain and humidity throughout the day. Again, winds light and variable. High temperature of 31, low temperature of 24. Rain until morning on Wednesday, starting again in the evening with a high temperature of 32, low temperature of 23. And that will be our weather forecast for today. But let us talk about Grace for a second. Hurricane Grace completed its cross-country tour, turning into a tropical depression in front of our coastline yesterday. And while there was a possibility that it could turn into a tropical cyclone, this did not happen. It's just a lot of wind. However, port officials uh, did close the port as a preventive measure, and that will be quite the welcome for the first cruise ship to arrive tomorrow since the pandemic began. And hopefully things will get a little better. And and nothing will happen with that cruise ship. I mean, imagine how ironic that we've been waiting all these years to welcome a cruise ship in our city and having it be delayed or detoured or something because of bad weather. Hopefully, that will not be the case. Meanwhile, in other news, I want to let you know that a business at the intersection of Morelos and Libertad streets in El Centro caught fire last night, mobilizing firefighters and civil protection police and detouring traffic through alternate roads. Officials informed that there were no injuries involved, just damage to the structure and contents. I have no idea what business that was. If anybody has anything to say about it or knows or lives in that neighborhood and knows which business was affected, of course, we are curious to learn more about this. And then yesterday, we learned that 30,000 people are working around the clock in Mexico City's new Felipe Ángeles Airport, one of Mexico President Andrés Manuel López Obrador's largest initiatives. The new airport is scheduled to be completed in a little over 200 days, or March 20, 2022, to be precise. We recall that when President López Obrador won the 2018 presidential elections, he organized an informal popular consultation regarding the cancellation of the new international airport that had begun by his predecessor, former President Enrique Peña Nieto, in the municipality of Texcoco. The project, however, was plagued with corruption and inner dealings, not to mention major threats to the environment. When completed, the new Felipe Ángeles Airport will handle up to 50 million passengers annually, complementing the current Benito Juárez International Airport and the airport in the city of Toluca near Mexico City. And the last headline that I have to share with you, well, I have a couple of announcements, but the last headline that I have to share with you has to do with the Gay Games. Have you ever heard of the Gay Games? The Gay Games is a worldwide sport and cultural event that promotes acceptance of sexual diversity, featuring lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender athletes, artists, and other individuals. It was started in San Francisco in 1982 and has been taking place in major cities around the world every 4 years since then. The next Gay Games will take place in Hong Kong in 2022. And now there are 3 different cities around the world contemplated to host the Games in 2026. Munich in Germany, Valencia in Spain, and our very own city of Guadalajara. We could have the Gay Games in Guadalajara. To that effect, the Gay Games organizing committee visited Guadalajara this past week and was welcomed by all sorts of festivities organized by city officials. The host city will be announced by the committee in November this year. If chosen, Guadalajara will host LGBT athletes from over 50 countries in an event that will take place over the span of 11 days, and one that will most likely overlap to Puerto Vallarta, or at least some of us would like that to happen. Hashtag #iCandy, wink, wink. And that's pretty much what we have for news. I want to remind you that this Friday, the Spotlight neighborhood or Spotlight Colonia that we are going to showcase is Colonia López Mateos. So if you have any tips for us on Colonia López Mateos, feel free to share them with us ahead of time, or make sure that you tune in on Friday. And we remind you that this new series of Colonia discussions on Fridays its goal is to help us become better acquainted with the pluses and minuses of each colonia that we tackle. We have started with a list of 22 colonias that we will tackle weekly, and then we'll add other colonias that we're not as familiar with later on in the game. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, I have a little personal announcement. I had a major breakthrough this weekend. Well, over the last week, I've been studying um, on how to domesticate Zoom meetings. To be able to provide more ways to interact with the Coffee and Headlines community, but also to do something about the fact that once upon a time I used to derive a lot of pleasure and some income as well by offering music appreciation lectures here in Puerto Vallarta. Some of you may be familiar with us with those, and some of you may not. But needless to say, during the pandemic, it's been very challenging to think about doing anything that gathers large numbers of groups anywhere, particularly indoors, where you would hope to have a comfortable acoustic environment to truly appreciate music. And I've been, of course, dealing with the reality that if you broadcast any music that is copywritten or copyrighted, copy something. If you broadcast such music either on Facebook or YouTube, they flag you and they mute your music, and eventually they suspend your channel if you continue to do it. But I have found a wonderful platform that will allow me to continue offering these music appreciation workshops, but now, of course, um, remotely. So I'm excited. I've given myself an initial deadline to offer the first one, and that will be on the second week of September. I won't give you the date just yet because I want to make sure that everything is just perfect. But this makes me so incredibly happy. I just cringe when I run into amazing music, and I just want to share it with as many people as I can. And I am just grateful that this will happen once again. And now, let me rewind the comments so that we can see what everybody is up to this morning. Aside from all the wonderful hellos that we always get, and I am always so grateful to receive your hellos. Um, Good morning. Always a sad day as I head to the airport after the show. Oh my God. And before I forget, we are all please sending good vibes today to our dear friend Logan because one of his girls, Honey, had to be taken to the veterinarian for emergency surgery over the weekend. And for a while, Logan thought that she would not make it, but she made it okay. So please send your most positive, most wonderful positive vibes in Logan's direction so that Honey continues to recover. Let's see what else we have here. Shum bum bum bum. Hello from Seattle, says Albert. Uh, Screw the diet, peanut butter, Oreos, and tea for breakfast. I have a good friend that had a beer for breakfast today. Let's see what else we have. Bum, ba bum, bum, bum. Question: great weekend meals at Whiskey Kitchen and Bravos. Craig, I noticed that you reported on this and I clicked like on your report. It makes me so very happy to hear that you actually follow up on recommendations that we offer. I also learned that our dear friend Paul from Hotel Mercurio, my Piba, also went to Mezcal y Sal, I believe 1 or 2 days after we talked about it. So it is just awesome. It is just awesome to know that you are enjoying the feedback that we exchange here. Let's see what else. Let's see what else. Uh, Rita says, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Manual transitions just like the old days. You know, I thought I had updated all my gimmicks, but I did not. In fact, if I try, no, I was able to play music. How funny, because I was able to do things like that, but not some of my video files. I'll make sure that I update those this afternoon. No worries. Um, let's see what else. The fire was sad. I can smell the char. I walk past those shops almost daily when I am here. That is horrible. Yeah, but I hope it was nothing very very serious. Um, let's see. Stephanie says, Lo siento, I'm late. Missed you all for a few days. Happy to be back with all of you. It's great to have you back, Stephanie. Um, Felipe Angeles' name, according to whom? Of course, according to the president of our country. That's the name of the airport. People on Jet de la Isla's Facebook page are calling the fire site a flea market. There's a bunch of little stores along that road that have knickknacks and whatnot, but again, I don't know specifically which store was involved. Christy says, so very late. No worries. It's only Monday. You know, it's everything is okay. Let's see what else we have. Angelo says, I think you should be competing in the gay games for crocheting. You know, I don't know what kind of cultural components they look for, but if they have the ability to submit proposals. Again, I don't know how the gay games are engineered or what kind of level of cultural events they're talking about, but I think it's a really exciting thing. And if it overlaps or spills over to Puerto Vallarta, this could be a good economic boom for our city. We'll have to see. I mean, still 4 years, 5 years away, but still we'll have to see what happens. Let's see what else we have. The gay games were hosted in Chicago in the past, says Benny. It was fabulous. Opening ceremonies were just like the traditional Olympics. I have seen these things on television, and they're really fantastic. I see that we are sending health blessings to someone related to Stephanie. I am scrolling through my messages. I understand. Okay, there we go. Stephanie, good vibes and best wishes for you and your husband. Thank God it was not COVID, but we certainly hope for a speedy recovery. Let's see what else we have. Rita is excited for the new music appreciation program. That makes two of us. Oh my God, I am so happy. It's not even funny. Good and loving thoughts to Logan and Honey. Of course, I know that Logan is working from home today and is taking care of his baby. Which is wonderful. Lynn says, Benny, my friend, competed in the Australian gay games. That is awesome. Awesome. Lots of good vibes for Logan and Honey. Beavis is the best and still have to try Whiskey Kitchen. I don't know who Beavis is. But if Beavis is, I suppose Beavis is associated with Whiskey Kitchen, but that is absolutely wonderful. Let's see what else. Shambada bam bam. Bravos is the best. Still have to try Whiskey Kitchen. I am so psyched because Michael Ford of Bravos has asked me or has hired me to do his food photography. And we start tomorrow. And I'm really, really excited about that. After having collaborated with Carmen Porras in her still photography and video projects, I'm really itching to do a collaboration with Michael because I'm a huge fan of his restaurants and I just love doing food photography. So I'm excited. That happens tomorrow. Today and Wednesday, I'll have a bunch of naked men behind me being photographed for my friend's male review troupe here in Puerto Vallarta. So it'll be a lot of fun. Lots of nudity in my house this week. But nothing having to do anything with me. So, but it'll be good eye candy, that's for sure. Let's see what else. Logan chimes in. I'm so glad that you're here, my dear Muffin. And I am sure that Honey is going to be okay. Wouldn't it be great if certain Mexican athletes took advantage of the gay games to come out of the closet? Well, anybody that lives inner trouble because of not being comfortable with who they are. We always wish them to be able to get to a comfortable place, whether they're athletes or construction workers or musicians or whatever. But in this particular case, yes, it would be great if the gay games would detonate not only people coming out of the closet, but just a better understanding and appreciation of what the gay community or the LGBT community is about. Um, the Gay Games is a big deal, yeah, and a driving force for the hosting city's economy and a good way to showcase their city. If the Gay Games come to Guadalajara, it will be a great boom for our capital city. So I'm excited about that. And let's see, some love for Michael Buford. And this is all absolutely wonderful. And I think we are at the end of our broadcast. This was a quickie because there were just a lot of little news to share, but little but important news. So there you have it. This was our coffee and headlines for today. I hope everybody will have a good start of the week, even though we had Hurricane Grace doing its doing her tour all over Mexico. It seems like the weather is pretty nice outside, so I certainly hope that is the case. Of course, everything could change overnight as long as God doesn't feel like she wants to prank us with some surprise weather. Things should be okay. I'm still convinced that it must have been April Fool's Day when God decided to feel a little feisty and she decided to have us grow hairs on our ears and in our noses and stuff like that. I mean, that is just not funny. But I'm totally digressing after having to have plucked some things off my ear this morning. I hate that. Why does that happen? Hair in places you cannot reach? You know, we should come up with a list of all the things that God put together in her planning for us, that she was clearly having a bad mood or something. But not today. What is my big announcement? My God, Mushy, where were you? I talked about music appreciation. If that's not big enough for you, um, that's too bad. No, I'm just kidding. Music appreciation is a big announcement to me. And, you know, once you've been to one of our music appreciation lectures, maybe it'll be a big announcement for you too. I think that's it. We've gotten to the end. So have a wonderful Monday. Have a great beginning of a week. And I will see you again hopefully tomorrow. If not, hopefully sometime soon. Between now and then, stay happy, stay healthy, stay patient, and stay kind. And please stay in touch. Have a great one.